All right, it should be working now. Hi, everyone. My name is Diego. I'm the founder of Animals. We're a digital apparel brand. And today I want to talk about avatar-generated content. I think one of the things that I've seen when it comes to digital apparel, digital fashion, or Web3 digital assets or items is how to market it and how do you actually get people to buy your apparel. And I think one of the things that we did and it worked really well, and I kind of want to share that experience, is this whole concept of avatar generated content. We were actually able to sell almost 1,000 digital jackets and boots in the past 7 days, and I kind of want to share just how it worked. And I think it's a powerful tool that is probably useful for more people to do. A bit of a background, you can find me as the mustache, but I've worked in tech, e-commerce. I've also built a pretty big community, and then we started with Animals this year, 2 months ago. And so today I want to talk to you about how do you actually market digital apparel, digital fashion items, and what's a good way to bring those items to market. Because one, it's a small market, right? Like, especially if you're doing NFTs, you have a limited amount of people using still, like the adoption is small, and the number of people with wallets, like, you know, despite the fact that it's been growing, it's also, once you take the whole digital apparel fashion items into the equation, I think it's pretty limited. And so when we, you know, with our digital apparel, we kind of wanted to try something different. And we kind of wanted to see, how do we actually show and not tell? How do we actually get people to use our items? And with that, get that credibility from users of, you know, looking at our items, looking at everything that we're doing, and generating, you know, better reach, better brand awareness, but also, you know, in the end, sales. Like, I think at the end of the day, we all want sales, and I think something to keep in mind with this business is that you do need large scale. So even if 1,000 items might seem like a lot, it's actually very little, but it's a good way to start generating traction for this space. And so we launched Animals almost a month ago. Our masks are basically, I'm originally from Guatemala. We basically inspired our masks. They're carved in wood. We digitalized them, and all of our collections or our apparel is kind of inspired by those masks. And so one of the things that we were thinking is, coming from the e-commerce and conversational background, I used to work a lot with retailers, but also large global e-commerces. And one of the things that we've realized, and if you look on the right side, you have the Instagram feed of Warby Parker, is that consumers are 2.4 times more likely to view generated content as authentic, to engage with it. And also, you know, I think we're moving away from like doing very intricate edited ads to something more realistic. And I think this trend is especially relevant when it comes to TikTok. Like, I think in Instagram with Reels, you're starting to see that, but with TikTok, you kind of want to see someone using the product. Like, yes, ads that are edited, that are professional, still work. Like, I'm not saying that's not good. I think it still works. But getting users to actually use their product, it's a lot more impactful. And so I kind of wanted to build that same experience, but with avatars. I was like, what if we can actually get avatars to buy our products, or figure out a way where we can collaborate, we gift them the items, but then we can actually start generating content. And with that content, we can kind of start building momentum for our apparel. And so I'll show this video. But this is basically what we did. Like, I think in my head, I think avatar generated content just kind of plays the same role. And so how do you actually get people to start generating all this content, and kind of show you just our results and what we basically did to make this work. But in a period of almost 15 months, we were able to generate close to 60 stories and posts on Instagram and TikTok of users just wearing our clothes, our digital items, sharing it on social media, both Instagram and TikTok, using our hashtags. And it was pretty surprising, because we were actually able to generate almost 1,100 sales of our newest collection or newest digital items, which you can see in that video of the jackets and the boots. we basically launched for one jacket in 4 different colors or versions with boots as well. And our approach was pretty simple, but I think it was very effective. And that's what I wanted to show you today and just share, I think, in that, what do we do and how do we make this work? One, we kind of did the whole guerrilla marketing approach of really tagging and looking for users on their DMs and engaging with them on social media. Probably 2-3 weeks ago, before our launch, we started engaging with a lot of influencers, a lot of micro influencers, a lot of users that we saw that had following on Instagram, on TikTok, or even we're in Zepeto, which Zepeto is a very large like metaverse hangout. Think of a bit of like Roblox, but less gaming. I think it's more hanging out and it's more fashion driven, but it's pretty big. They have 40 million active users a month in Asia. Or with the majority of the users being in Asia. And so what we basically did is said, let's start looking for users who have a good following in Zepeto, a good following in Instagram or TikTok, or they might not have a big following on social media, but they do it within Zepeto. We started engaging with them. We started sending DMs, just talking about like, hey, we love your content. This is great. And then that started conversations to saying like, hey, we're about to launch this, like, would you like to collaborate? Yes, we had to, and the way it worked, for some, we had to pay. So for others, it was free. We gave items for free. They used them. But we were able to basically work with almost 15 influencers or micro influencers. We also hired a micro influencer agency, which basically have different models that also kind of work together. I think if you think of how Instagram started, it used to have like people or users would get together and build these pods, so that when one user, posted something, they would post it on the pod or DM or WhatsApp, and then everybody would engage, and that kind of spread and viralized or increased the reach. I think the same thing happens today, but within avatars. Like we realize that there's these pockets of groups, and I'm going to say women because the majority of our target market in our clothes were for women. We realized that there were these pockets of like users who were promoting each other's content and with that getting it viralized. So we started DMing them. That helped us. We also, like when I say an agency, it really wasn't an agency, but more like these pockets of users. We paid some of them as well. And then we kind of created content in a contest where we had different prices where people would, if they wore our apparel, and then they would basically publish a story or a post on social media. They would use our hashtag. They would enter the contest, and we would give prizes in items and in more accessories and other things that we had coming. And we had really, really good results. Like with this effort, as I mentioned, we created almost 60, or we didn't create, but like we got users to develop almost 60 stories, posts on Instagram, TikTok, wearing our apparel, wearing a digital item. So we now have a pretty good library of content that we can now share on social media, both on Instagram, on TikTok, even within Zepeto, that we didn't create, that users, the community did with 60 different avatars. It would have been really, I would say, cost prohibitive and like almost impossible to do it ourselves. But with this effort, we were able to get different avatars, different sizes, different models, different hairstyles to just wear and showcase our items. And so it was pretty successful, not just in terms of content generation, but I think it also gave us a good momentum in terms of just start generating sales for our apparel. And so I'll stop there because I know we're short on time, but I kind of wanted to share that today because I think it's been a good experience. It's kind of a roller coaster with digital apparel. It's not a roadmap or a brand that you can follow and say, this is how you do it. So you kind of have to approach it and test it and just as you go. But I wanted to share that today because I think it was a good experience in just how to market your product, especially when it comes to digital apparel, digital fashion, or Web3 fashion. So you can reach me out at The Mustache. You can also check our brand, animals.ca. Feel free to DM me if you have questions, and I'll stop there and leave some time. Thank you.